This is Planet Jazz. I'm Alvin Jones, and we have a special guest. The doctor is in the house. Dr. Dave, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Hey, man, fantastic. I saw your Sexy Cindy video, and we had to put that up on the link. Tell us about the origination of Sexy Cindy.
I was looking for kind of a cool possible crossover tune that would be appealing to the jazz radio stations, to the smooth jazz radio stations, as well as possibly some pop soul stations. And I came up with that. The rhythm is what I came up with. If you hear the guitar, listen to the rhythm guitar in the background, that's me. And that's what started it. I like that groove that it produced. And then I thought, let's add a little sex appeal to this and call it Sexy Cindy, and found the perfect model for this.
Now, this lady was a beauty queen.
Yeah, she was Miss Santander, Colombia. She was here in the United States, and I ran across her through people that I knew. Thought she was very attractive and sexy and pretty, kind of a rare combination. And I thought, she'd be perfect for the music video, Sexy Cindy. And it just so happened her name is Cindy. It worked out perfect. She did a great job.
You've been working with some of the folks that I think are important in the smooth jazz and jazz genre. Hollis Gentry, and you've worked with the Laws brothers, that whole family, Ronnie and Hubert Laws, Carl Evans, who was with Fat Burger, Ernie Watts, Freddie Hubbard. How did you get into that whole groove with these great giants?
Well, it started out with the Fat Burger Band. I knew those guys from playing the San Diego jazz scene. And it was time for me, as far as I was concerned, it was time for me to try my hand at the national scene rather than being a club musician. And so I contacted Carl Evans of Fat Burger and asked him if he'd produce my first album. And he said he would love to. So we worked together on 3 albums, actually, and they did real well. And through the process of working with him, there was a gentleman that owned a recording studio back in those days that had the listing of the different artists. And one of the songs that I wrote specifically with Freddie Hubbard in mind, for example. And he said he had the phone numbers of all of these artists' managers, and if he'd like, he could give them a call and ask them if they'd be willing to work with me. So he did that, and the first one I actually got a hold of was Freddie Hubbard, because I'd actually written a song called Rubber Rabbit, and that you can listen to that on YouTube or Spotify.
Let's talk about how you got the name Dr. Dave.
Well, I was playing with a band that I happened to be the only white guy in the band. And what I learned at the time was, in the black culture, when somebody does something exceptionally well and uniquely, they pin the title doctor. Like, for example, Dr. J in basketball, Dr. Dre in rap. And even if you think about it, Doc Severinsen back in the Johnny Carson days on The Tonight Show. Yeah, people forget about that. But anyway, in this case, they saw me scatting on the break. We were at rehearsal, and on the break, I was scatting with the notes like Benson does. And they looked at me and they said, "We didn't know you could do that. We're going to call you Dr. Dave from now on." And that's where the name came from.
So, Dr. Dave, PhD in scatting.
Yes, thank you.
We are talking to Dr. Dave. His new album is Midnight Daydream. And let's talk about that. How did that album come together?
There are songs on here that I've always wanted to do and never got around to doing them. I just had the inclination. For some reason, it's just time to do them. One of those, for example, a song that George Benson did live at Carnegie Hall back in '75 called Octane. And I wanted to do my arrangement of that tune. I also wanted to give a tribute song to Benson as well. And I did that on my previous album called Carefree, called GB Style. If you listen to the theme song when they introduce on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, when he's coming out on stage, they do that, hey, 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 hey. I thought, that could be made into a song because it's hip. It's got a real catchy thing to it. I went ahead and wrote a song called Hey, 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 Hey. So there was a lot of creative ideas. I always wanted to do Take 5. I had a different arrangement in mind for Take 5, so I did that. So it was just an album of different songs that I wanted to do. John Coltrane's Impression, and I wanted to do more of a modern contemporary version of Impressions, so I did that. I had some songs that I really wanted to do, never did them, so I thought this is my opportunity to do so. And while we were in the studio, as a group, we also came up with some ideas for some unique songs, new songs in the process. And that's how the album came about.
We're currently talking to Dr. Dave. His new CD is out, Midnight Daydream. How can people get the CD?
They can get it through all the internet stores, including Amazon, iTunes, any of the internet stores.
How can people catch you on social media?
Dr. Dave, HouseCall Band, one word, .com. And you can also Google me, Dr. space Dave, Jazz. And then Dr. Dave and the HouseCall Band for YouTube. I got a number of videos on YouTube that people might want to look at. One of them is Sexy Cindy. Another one is Don't Worry, Be Happy. And then I've got some film of us doing a live concert.
How did you come up with the name the HouseCall Band? I like that.
Well, actually, I got to give credit where credit's due. There was a DJ named Gene Harris that was his idea. He said, man, he goes, Doc, he used to call me Doc. He goes, Doc, you ought to put a band behind you and call them the HouseCall Band. He goes, that would work. And I said, I like that. So I took his suggestion, and it actually has been very, very good thing, because what used to happen is they'd ask me what I did, and I'd say, I'm a jazz recording artist. And they'd say, what's your name? And I'd say, I go by Dr. Dave. And they'd say, do you play with a band? Well, so that eliminated that question. So I'd just say Dr. Dave and the HouseCall Band.
Because we come to you.
Yeah.
So, it'd be funny if you had a tour and it was like sponsored by one of the healthcare companies, and what they could do is send you on the road and give people free health screenings while they're watching. They're checking you out, get a good health screening, and go see the HouseCall Band.
Well, I would be open to anything like that. Anything related to charity and helping others, I would be happy to do those things. I think, contributing to society is a responsibility that we all have, and it just makes the world a better place.
I have to agree with you on that one. Let's talk about your recording, because I know you're based in San Diego. Did you record the album in San Diego?
I did, at Signature Sound, and used the recording engineer Mike Harris at Signature Sound.
Shout out to Mike Harris at Signature Sound, letting you know that, hey, we're at Planet Jazz, appreciate your work.
Yes, he was extremely helpful. Best engineer I've ever worked with.
All right, so right now the current single is Sexy Cindy. You got more things on the album that we talked about. The album is called Midnight Daydream. It is Dr. Dave and the HouseCall Band. I got to thank you for taking the time to come on Planet Jazz. I know that you've got a bunch of things going on, but listen, we're going to enjoy your music. We're going to let people know how they can reach you, and just keep it, make those house calls. And, this is some soulful music for the soul, music that is healing. That's what you do, Dr. Dave. You're the man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're listening to Planet Jazz with Alvin Jones on WERA 96.7 and WERA.FM.